Any already stockpiling, y'all making memes. Think it's funny? Wait a week till the riots. Wait a month till the only way to eat is be violent. It's not the sickness that's scary, it's all the people who wildin'. The government lying, they trying to keep us calm through the sirens. You know it's for real. But the fact is, we're trapped on this planet called Earth. And the bleach gone, the bread gone, the water sold out. The meat gone, the milk gone, the pasta sold out. Don't leave anything for anyone. You hoard it for yourself. You'd rather tell them go to hell than be a man and go and help.
Probably most horrific about reforming the system is that the people that are going to suffer the most are the people that are the poorest. So, like, if you think of like fast food in particular, right? There's a lot of like really poor people that rely on fast food because it's very inexpensive. If you go and you can get a lot of calories for a small amount of money, right? But if you go from the fast food restaurant and then you go down the line to factory farming, and then somehow or another they eliminate factory farming, and they say, no, if you're going to raise animals, you have to have the same sort of standards that we would expect if we knew you, if we were there. We want pastures. We want animals living in the wild. We want, fenced in, but like living like an actual animal, not this crazy warehouse bullshit you guys are running. Well, that's going to up our operation costs. Well, then that's how it's going to be. So then the beef becomes far more expensive. Now, if the beef becomes far more expensive, then what do the restaurants do? Well, they're going to have to make things more expensive too. So who's going to suffer? The poor people. Who's going to suffer with cheap meat in supermarkets? Poor people that can't afford it.
No, but supplies 60% of the world's grain. They've been hoarding it for a while, actually, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So we're going to have a shortage, a global shortage. The meat processors, they're not interested in really using livestock anymore. It's just a lot more profitable. And we're training people, now it's an amazing thing. And, is it Burger King or someone just came out with, new soy McNugget nuggets. We're being kind of pushed into this. And all we know is we put it in our face. It has the same texture. It tastes the right way. And the profits are much better. So that's where people are starting to reach out and say, well, why don't I go meet a rancher one day and a local processor. It's not USDA; they can't get that. But in Texas, you're allowed to sell, your meat directly without USDA stamp. One of the few states. Vegetables, all this stuff. We're going to have to figure it out because we're going to have shortages. I think we're going to have some serious food shortages. It'll be weird, like bread might not show up or something else will happen. But we're going to have shortages.
Well, we have a bunch of problems, right? One of the big ones is large population centers aren't self-sustainable.
Entirely not, no.
Yeah, they need food shipped into them.
They need
which is really
Whole Foods and H-E-B.
It's really weird. If you think about the size of like a New York City, it's enormous, right? There's so many people. There's a building. It's a perfect place because the buildings are stacked on top of each other and everything is like when you're there, you're like, wow, there's so much so much fucking energy in this place.
Yeah.
But like very little is getting grown in terms of food.
Little tinfoil hattie, I think that there's a powerful desire to consolidate food production globally, and this is an amazing way to do it. It's as it is. There's I think that 6 or 7 companies produce like 90% of the food that's consumed globally. But what we've seen over time is just more consolidation, and there's this kind of weird interface between tech and venture capital and food. There have been some interesting pieces where folks are looking at food like they want it to be operated like IP, like software. They want you to be able to own the
It's
intellectual
interesting
property.
you say that because Bill Gates is now the largest owner of farmland in the United States. So it's fuckery. But the thing is, like, he keeps saying that we've got to eat less meat. And, we've got to cut our consumption of meat out to be healthy, and then we're going to get used to these meat alternatives. When a guy like that says that, I'm like, are you making money because of this? Like, why are you saying that? And by the way, you look like shit. Like, because if you're eating those plant-based burgers or whatever the fuck you're doing, like, you're obese. Like, a guy like that telling people about he's got these breasts and this gut, and I'm like, this is crazy. You're one of the richest guys on earth. You have access to the best nutrients, you could have an amazing trainer. You could be in phenomenal shape, and you're giving out public health advice. You're giving out health advice, and you're sick. It's like literally like a non-athlete trying to coach professional. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? How are you giving any health advice when you look like that? Your health is piss poor. I'm not a doctor. But when you've got man boobs and a gut and you're walking around, you have these like toothpick arms, I'm like, hey, buddy, you're not healthy.
There's a lot of profit to be made in processing something into a Beyond Burger. There's a lot of profit to be made.
But those aren't even selling anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Perfect time to talk to someone like you about our food. We're in a very strange crisis now, and you just keep hearing time and time again in the news how much ranchers and farmers and people are really suffering right now, and how much folks who don't have anything to do with that are now they're being forced to understand the importance of the food supply chain and ranchers and farmers and all the stuff that we've taken for granted for quite a long time. Yeah, these large meat processing places, they've been hit hard by the coronavirus.